Hello bunnies and welcome back all to Woodland Bunny, a cozy space to talk about books. Today we are doing a bookshelf tour, but first I need to make a cup of tea, so let's go ahead and do that and then we'll get straight into it. So grab yourself your most warming hot drink, a cozy blanket, and let's go! Jasmine tea is honestly one of my favourite teas of all time. We found tons of discounted teas at Waitrose the other day when we went shopping, and so we restocked our cupboards and I am so excited to try them all. But with the bookshelves, I thought it would be useful as I kind of explain as I go. My whole kind of lounge is my home library and this is very much my safe space, but my cats reside in it too. I have 4 kittens in case you didn't know, and they're all rescues. They are quite funky in the way that they go about, so I'm quite particular in the layout of my lounge and my home library because it's kind of with them in mind. A lot of their toys are laying on the floor, they've got lots of games everywhere, and it's their home as much as mine, so I wanted to really take that into account when sort of crafting and building my home library. This is by no means finished. I still have a lot that I want to do to it, but for now and for the whole time I've had this space, I just feel really grateful for it because it truly is a safe space for me. So let's get in with the tour. So the first stop is my non-fiction section up here. I just wanted to make a note about the plants because I've had a few comments in the past with my cats. Obviously, I am fully aware that so many plants are toxic to cats, and a lot of my plants are actually fake, and if they're not fake, I'm in the process of moving them somewhere that the cats can't access, or I know that they're somewhere in which the cats haven't gone to yet, and I'm in the process of swapping them out for artificial plants. So I just wanted to make that strictly clear. A lot of the plants are also scratching posts, in which it may not seem like that, or maybe it doesn't come across as that on camera, I'm not too sure, but I just wanted to make a kind of announcement that I am fully aware that it's so important to make sure that your home is cat proof and that your plants are not toxic to your cats. So yeah, anyway, so back to my non-fiction shelves. So here, like I said, I have a lot of my non-fiction shelves. Some books that I really like from this section are this book. It took me a while to get through, but I feel like there is just so many different essays in here for so many different times of your life, and I just really like how it has something for almost everyone as well. I feel like it's just such an easy read and something in which you can just gain different things from in different times of your life or from different perspectives you've gained, and you see the words very differently. And this is one I re-frequent often because I just find it's so impactful and powerful. And then some books I really want to read soon are Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I read this years and years ago, and so I really want to reread it because I feel like, again, it's just something at different stages of your life you can just get something from it. And I feel like that's what I love so much about non-fiction, is you can just get so many different things from it depending on your time in your life, etc, etc. And then I also like this one, Why Has Nobody Told Me This Before? Again, one that I will definitely reread in the future, and I recommend that one, especially if you have mental health struggles or you're just not really understanding something that's going on in your life and you would like some wider perspective. I know definitely for me, when I was going through a phase that I wasn't going to therapy, this book was really helpful for me, and yeah, it kind of just felt like a mini therapist almost, which I really enjoyed. And then another book that I really want to read soon is How to Do Nothing. I've started this one but just never, funnily enough, got through it because I've always been distracted. And this is about a attention economy and how it is really captivating our brain and how we can't have boredom or do nothing anymore. We must always be doing something to stimulate our brain, and I found that a really interesting concept, so I definitely want to read this one. By the way, these are in no particular order, they just kind of go wherever. And yeah, so this is my little non-fiction section. And just below it on these smaller shelves here, we have my smaller hardback selection. So on the section below, I have way too many books that I've read and loved. I feel like I would need a whole video to talk through some of those. But let me pick out some books that I'm eager to read that are on my TBR, because that's one thing about my bookshelves, is my TBR and my read books are mixed in. They're kind of categorized by genre but also by height of book. And yeah, I feel like I'm just running out of shelf space, so it's all a bit higgledy-piggledy, but yeah, it just kind of works for my brain. So just browsing those shelves right now, I've realized I've read quite a lot of these books on here, which is a really good feeling. But the three main books that I really want to get to sometime soon is Mrs. S. I won't go into detail as to what all of these books are about because otherwise we'll be here forever, but yes, this is very high up on my TBR. Then I also have Little Rot because I love ᴍᴇ괱ᴜ writing. I think it's just so impactful and powerful, and I feel like everything she touches is just phenomenal. And then also The Marigold Mind Laundry. This is one of the only books on my TBR that I haven't read that is kind of in the translated from the Japanese fiction realm, where it's following a main point of interest and then all of these characters and the whole kind of plot and story surrounding this thing, and I adore that concept. It's very new to me, and I'm just loving it and just reading so much about that kind of storytelling, and I just found it so powerful and impactful, so definitely want to read this one sometime soon too. Again, to note, these books are not organized in any way whatsoever. I've kind of got books that if it's like a first and a second in a series, it's sat together, but other than that, I don't even have authors together, which I know for some people that's just hell on earth. But for me, I've kind of just put the books back, and it's kind of fun because it's like a treasure hunt whenever I'm trying to find a book. But I have a online catalogue on Libib of my own TBR, so whenever I'm thinking about a book, if I can't find it on my shelves but I know I own it, I'll just scroll on that, and it has all of the covers and the author information, etc, etc on there. And I also have one for my home library, so whenever I get a book, scan the barcode and I put it in there. And that's mainly also to help me know what books I have, but also just to help other people if they want to buy me a present. I often share it with my family, so then they know not to get a book that obviously I already own. So yeah, that is just a big note, I suppose, as to why my shelves themselves are not very organized, because I kind of have other realms of organization. Moving along slightly, we have my classic selection, and then we have an empty shelf here because it was sort of buy one get one free when I was buying these bookcases, so I thought why not get another, because obviously my stuff is going to extend eventually and this is almost full, so I think the classics will move across and then these will move across. But anyway, here are the classics. So again, I'm really happy to say I read majority of the books sat on these shelves. A lot of them are just different editions of Jane Austen's novels because I adore Jane Austen. She is honestly one of my favourite writers of all time. I've got the whole Bronte selection here because I love the Brontes as well. And yeah, so a few that I would like to read sometime soon are War and Peace. I just feel like I feel like it's just such a monumental read to have said, I've read this book, I've loved this book, or I didn't like this book. And I feel like there's just so much discussion around this book, and not just because it's a classic or not just because it's a big book. I just feel as though so many people have just changed their perspective after reading this book, and I've just been always intrigued by it. I've always been eager to read it, and so I definitely want to dedicate time to do it soon. So that's definitely one I would want to read. And then also the Bell Jar. I've tried to read this so many times and just never got through it, and I don't know why. And then I keep forgetting what I have read, so this is definitely high up on my reading list. And also Perfume, I'm really eager to read as well. I feel like it has horror elements in it, I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I'm really intrigued by it, and it's on my TBR as well. Oh, also these two are high up on my TBR. I didn't really know much about them, especially this book, because it was recommended to me quite a while ago now, but I just remember being really interested by it. And again, this is my issue, is I get really interested by a book, get it, own it, and then become intimidated by it. I don't really know what's happening with that, but that's my whole purpose, is to try and read as much as I own rather than just buying books all the time, and obviously using my library as always. But yeah, I feel sometimes guilty when I have a lot of unread books, but at the same time I love just having the option and the privilege to be able to own these books, because reading is my special interest. It is honestly something which for my whole entire life has brought me safety and has brought me comfort and joy, and so to be able to own this library and own a lot of books that I haven't yet read, it's just so many childhood dreams come true, to be honest. So yeah, I feel like that's why when I talk about all these books being high on my TBR, it's because they genuinely are, because I've just picked them all up for some reason and I want to read every single one of them, otherwise I wouldn't have picked them up, you know. I'm not one of those people that tend to unhaul books, because I'm very particular about the books that I do choose to pick. Sorry for the quite dramatic shift in angle. My battery ended up dying on my camera and I ended up eating tons of chocolate pancakes while waiting for it to charge. Anyway, we're now next to my hardback shelf. So these are my standard hardbacks. Again, this is getting a bit full. We've only got some space down here at the bottom. But in terms of books that I'm excited to read on this shelf, I have quite a lot of my unread books on this shelf. I think it's because I don't necessarily gravitate towards hardbacks, because having a chronic illness, sometimes my body aches, etc., and holding a hardback is just a lot of more strain and effort on my body. Anyway, some books that I'm excited to read include Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I also own the second book in this series slash duology, maybe it is. I got that one as a gift, and so this has made me even more eager to read this one. Yeah, I've had this one for quite a while. I started to read it so many times and then ended up getting distracted and put it down. So yeah, I ended up I've got a little note here. I bought this one using a Amazon voucher that I got as a present a little while ago, so that's quite interesting. And then the other one is quite a recent addition to my shelf, and that is The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. I haven't read anything by Mary E. Pearson. I believe that they wrote the Kiss of Deception series, in which I never got around to reading, but this one just really speaks to my interest. It's an addictive fantasy filled with forbidden romance, deadly fairy curses, and pulsing, pounding action. So that sounds like so much fun. So I definitely want to get to this one soon as well. bookshelf tour? Hey? Have you come to join the bookshelf tour? Coco says hello everyone. Thank you. So behind me is my fantasy mixed in with a bit of sci-fi, also some thriller and mystery novels. So we've got quite an array of books here. That's these two shelves, and then I'll talk about those other shelves in a minute. So I've got quite a few books that, again, I haven't really read on these shelves, but most of them have been read. Some that I'm really excited to read are the whole, I think it's called the Four Horsemen series. I got these really cheap on World of Books, and it came as like a little box set thing for the same price as it would cost one of the books. So I decided to invest in it because I read Laura Flasser's oh, I can't remember what it's called. I literally have it here. Here. Rhapsodic. I read this series by Laura Flasser, binged it in literally one summer day and loved it. So I'm hoping if the writing style is fairly similar that I'll really enjoy that series too. I also have just a few standalone novels that I'm really eager to get to. I have Hellbent, which is up there, that I mentioned I wanted to get to, Ninth House. I've also got some fantasy down here that have been quite hyped up and popular at the moment that I bought a while back that I'm really intrigued to see what the hype is about, and that's Dragonfall. We also have Immortal Longings, and we have the Hurricane Wars. I bought these from the works, in which they were a couple of pounds each, which I thought was an absolute bargain, so I decided to get these. Chloe Gong, I haven't read anything from her before. I also own the first book in her other series, I think it's called, in which is on my hardback shelf up there, in which is These Violent Delights. So yeah, I'm really intrigued to read a Chloe Gong novel and see if I enjoy that. So those are also down here, and yeah, I think most of the other books I have actually read. I'm really wanting to reread A Darker Shade of Magic because I have the series and I read the first book quite a while ago, hence me buying the second and the third, but I cannot remember anything about it. I'm really wanting to reread that sometime soon as well. We're now at the final two shelves of the bookshelf tour. Here behind me we have my contemporary fiction, my literary fiction, my romance books. A few mystery and thrillers have found their way into this section as well, purely because I've run out of space on my fantasy and mystery and thriller section over here. So yeah, a few kind of books down here have found their way mixed in. I definitely need to do some sort of reorganization soon, perhaps once I get a new shelves, or perhaps I need to squidge books up a little bit and plop them in. But anyway, where I have space, I have filled it. So yeah, quite a lot on here. Like I say, I've got quite a mix, an eclectic mix on this shelf, so it's not necessarily just one genre, like, or one set thing like the other bookshelves have been. I've got quite a few books that I want to and am eager to get to on here, like every other shelf. So yeah, let me talk you through some of those now. So the main ones that I want to get to are, first of all, the Kate Atkinson Death at the Sign of the Rook. I recently got into this kind of genre of mystery thriller and have been loving reading and adoring Agatha Christie. I want to add that to my TBR, as down there at the bottom I have tons of Agatha Christie novels that I really eagerly want to get to. I've read quite a fair few so far, and I got a whole selection from a family friend, which I was so excited to receive. So I'm making my way through those, and then yeah, like I said, I bought this one the other day because it was on sale at my local independent bookshop, and yeah, I'm really eager to get to this one. And then we also have Remarkably Bright Creatures, in which this one has sort of been around and getting popular and traction for quite a while now. I've heard it's quite moving and profound, and it's got humor involved but also a bit of heaviness with life. So I'm really intrigued by this one because I've been getting more into just general life fiction and kind of like exploration of different people's lives and perspectives, so very eager to get to this. And then this one was a Booker Prize winner in 2022. Oh no, sorry, it was longlisted for the Booker Prize in 2022. And again, it's translated works in which I have been reading, loving and adoring this year, and have really found the profoundness of how great translated fiction is and how important it is to read translated fiction. And this one just sounds really interesting. It just sounds like messy life going through it, trials and tribulations in life, and I've been adoring reading those things so far and recently. So yes, very intrigued to see this one and just experience more unique writing, because I find that's one thing with translated fiction is the writing is just so unique and the storytelling is just so different to everything I read otherwise. And then finally on the shelves is Sugar Baby. This one has been on my list for quite a while. I've heard that it's maybe in the kind of weird lit fic genre, which again, absolutely adore. So yeah, that's also on my high TBR. I must say that all of the books on my TBR are high up. The TBR is obviously forever growing. I am just adding to it daily with wish lists as well, but I'm very grateful for the books that I do own also. So yeah, those are the books that I've picked out from this, and which I would say probably are the highest on my TBR. So we now have the very final shelf in this whole home library tour. This is my graphic novel shelf slash manga shelf, and also my partner's books are down on the bottom here. He doesn't read very often, but he's got a little collection of books, and quite a lot of this manga as well, the Junji Ito, is his, although we do share it. I don't really read Junji Ito that often because I am a bit of a scaredy cat, but I have dived into, for example, the Cat Diaries that I got him for his birthday, and that was actually before us getting our cats, and so I've reread it since then and realized how much it rings true, and I really love it. So that's so much fun. So that actually sits on our coffee table because that was kind of a special book for him to receive for his birthday, and then us get the cat shortly after. So yeah, so this is kind of like the graphic novel selection up here. So he kind of owns Chainsaw Man and Dragon Society here that are mine, and Heartstopper and Bloom, in which I absolutely adore this graphic novel Bloom. It's just so heartwarming, so cozy, and it feels just so wholesome. And then yeah, the Junji Ito down here, and then right at the bottom here is his like novels and his books that he's read and loved. And yeah, so that's this kind of little selection up here, and then he's got his Berserk collection here too as well, with some of my Jellycats over the top. You will have noticed that I adore Jellycats. I absolutely love Jellycats, and they're dotted all around my home, even upstairs in our bedroom. I started collecting them for every 1,000 subscriber milestone I hit, and that's such a special way to really celebrate and really kind of feel true to myself, because I just adore Jellycats, and to me my whole journey of adulthood is just healing my inner child. I just love that idea, and yeah, it's just so much fun. So maybe eventually I'll do a video with my Jellycats, because they bring me so much joy. So obviously I have way more Jellycats than I do thousands of subscribers at the moment, because I do collect Jellycats outside of that, but yeah, I also do it on these kind of special occasions and those big moment occasions, because it's just fun to recognize the wins in life. So yeah, that's the final bookshelf concluded. My friends, that is the bookshelf tour concluded. I really hope you enjoyed this adventure, coming along with me, rambling and talking about books and showing you my collection. I'd love to know if there are any books that you spotted on my shelves that you're really eager to read, or that you've loved and enjoyed and recommend I again boost to the top of my TBR. I'm not sure how many books I can really say that are at the top of my TBR, because they're kind of all at the top of my TBR. But anyway, yeah, I just enjoy so much chatting about books and just talking through my books, because it just makes me excited for what I've got at home, and yeah, just forever love visiting my shelves and just feeling like it's my own home library, because then I can just pick out my next read. So I really hope you enjoyed this little snippet and this little deep dive into my home library, and this is a safe space for you to come and escape to for a little while. Thank you ever so much for watching and being here, and I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you have a wonderful day or night. Until next time, bye!